Whether a man is a legend or not is decided by history and not by fortune tellers. Hello everyone, this is Shivani and welcome back to my channel LitFun. I know it's been a lot of time since I've discussed a book with you, and it's almost as if I've forgotten why I started this YouTube channel in the first place. But whenever I see the logo of my channel, I am reminded of it because the tagline says, "Come, fall in love with literature." So yes, although I have stopped discussing books, it doesn't mean that I have stopped reading. In the meantime, I have read tons of books, and today in this video, I'm going to discuss the most recent book that I just completed. And the book is Shiva Trilogy, written by Amish Tripathi. And yes, the quote that I started with belongs to this very trilogy, that is Shiva Trilogy. Now, as you all know, trilogy means the book is divided into three parts. So the first part is Immortals of Meluha, second is The Secret of Nagas, and the third is The Oath of Vayuputras. The Oath of Vayuputras is further divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. So in this video, we are going to discuss the Immortals of Meluha. So let's begin. Well, this book is a marvel. It's like really amazing book, and like I told you, it's written by Amish Tripathi. So basically, it's a work of fiction, it's a work of imagination where Amish Tripathi imagines Lord Shiva as a human being, and he traces his journey on how he becomes a Mahadev. So what are the battles he fights, what are the decisions he takes, and what are his karmas that ultimately make him the Mahadev. And there is a quote summarizing the complete spirit of this book, and the quote says, "A Mahadev is not born from his mother's womb. He is forged in the battle's heat when he wages a war to destroy evil." So now let's start with the journey of Lord Shiva. So basically, Shiva lives in Tibet and he belongs to a tribe Guna. And there is another rival tribe, that is Prakritis, and those people continuously attack their tribe. There is no scope of peace there, and they have to fight daily in order to just survive, even when they are not interested. So there's a lot of bloodshed, lot of innocent children and women and men are killed in those battles, and everyone is really tired of fighting such useless wars. Then one day Nandi arrives. Who is Nandi here? Nandi is the general of Meluha. Well, Meluha is the place where Shiva will finally go and find his destiny. So Nandi arrives and he gives a proposal that the entire tribe may shift to Meluha and they will be given all that they need. So they'll be provided with every facilities that they could ever hope for. And in return, they want the help of Shiva. So Shiva gives it a thought, and ultimately he comes to trust Nandi when he helps them in a war against Prakritis. But as a good leader, he does not just impose his decision on the people of his tribe. In fact, he leaves it onto them to decide whether they want to move out with Nandi or not. But the people ultimately, of course, they agree, and it's like their respect towards Shiva that make them agree. And of course, nobody wanted to live there to fight more and more battles. So they all set out on a journey and they reach Meluha. Meanwhile, a very beautiful thing happens. Shiva happens to see Sati in outside a temple, and he falls in love with her at the very first sight. There she is attacked by a person who is completely covered in black cloak. However, the almond eyes catches Shiva's attention, and the bracelet on his hand too catches his attention. The bracelet has a symbol Om, but what is different is that Om is made up of 3 serpents, and that captures Shiva's attention and he remembers it throughout. Anyways, when Sati is attacked, Sati does not behave like a damsel in distress. She is shown as a very headstrong and a woman of great character. So she fights valiantly, and Shiva also of course helps her out, and together they defeat the person, and that mysterious man, he runs off. So there a little bit conversation between the two starts, and finally Sati leaves. Now when they reach Meluha, all the people are given comfortable quarters, and they are mesmerized by Meluha because it's a highly civilized and a meticulously planned city. So it has all the sanitation facilities, drainage system, which these people were not even aware of. And everyone is given a liquid to drink, and when they drink that liquid, everyone gets a fever. Now basically, why did they give the liquid to drink? The explanation was because they had come from outer space, so Meluhans didn't want any type of infection to spread in their country, so they were given that drink. And because it's known to cleanse the body system, everyone gets a high fever, and the doctor Ayurvati, she treats everyone. But one of the major impacts of the liquid is on Shiva. And what is that impact? That his throat turns blue in color when he drinks it. But it also has some magical impact on him, that is that he starts healing, his body starts healing when he drinks that liquid, but he is really disturbed as his throat feels really cold. And the moment everyone sees that blue throat of Shiva, everyone is like mesmerized. They kneel in front of him, saying that Neelkanth has come, oh my lord, oh my lord. And Shiva is completely baffled. First, he's not able to understand how has his throat turned blue, and next he's not able to understand why is everyone behaving like this. Even the King Daksha, he pays utmost respect to Shiva. He kneels down in front of him and everything. And this is really not liked by one person, that is General Parvateshwar. Why? Because he says that we have a society based on merit. We does not make anyone huge on the basis of their caste, color, gender, and certainly not on the basis of the color of their throat. So he really despises how King Daksha acts in front of Shiva, seeking for his help. And this is what baffles and intimidates Shiva, because according to him, Meluhans have everything. It is such an advanced and a civilized society that he thinks, what can a barbarian like him do to help them? But then nonetheless, he respects everyone's feelings and he goes with the flow. Now Meluha was a city designed by Lord Ram in ancient century, and Meluhans are ardent devotees of Lord Ram. They live by the rules, they follow each and every command that was issued by Lord Ram. And one of the most, uh, you know, uh, most sincere devotees is Sati, and of course General Parvateshwar, who lives by the rules, and according to him not a single thing can change. So now what happens when Shiva is also confused and like what to do and what not to do? He again sees Sati in the premises of the palace, and he sees her dancing, and one day he himself approaches and shows his dance performance, trying to teach Sati some things, trying to teach her basically not to be so stiff and let herself loose and then dance. It requires that you feel the music. And when he dances, Sati is completely mesmerized, and we all know that Shiva is a great dancer, and that talent is shown here. And accidentally Shiva touches Sati once, and she is shocked. And what is baffling is it's not that Shiva touched her, so she's shocked that it was something wrong that he did, but it's that she says before leaving that please take a holy bath, else it will not be good for you. She almost pleads that you were not supposed to touch me, please take a holy bath. And this leaves Shiva all the more confused that what the hell is going on. So yes, in this completely greatly designed uh, city, we have a few evils, and that lies in the people only. So later on Shiva finds out that Sati is a Vikarma. Now, who are Vikarmas? Vikarmas are like some poor souls whom destiny have played a very bad game with. So, the people who suffer something bad are named as Vikarmas, and they are told that it's because of your sins of past life that you are facing this in in this life of yours, and everyone abandons them. It's said that if you touch a Vikarma, then his or her sins will transfer to you, and then you will also be doomed. So already they are facing so much, and on top of that you say कि अरे ये तो तुम्हारे ही पुराने कर्मों की सजा है, and we are going to be away from you. So that's what happens with Sati as well. Now, what had happened to her that she was classified as a Vikarma? Well, many years ago, she had given a birth to a stillborn child, and on that very same day, her husband has also died. So she was also termed as Vikarma. So she was not allowed to attend any holy puja or yagna or something, and she was not allowed to be with someone, and nobody was allowed to touch her. Now, if you're wondering why the book was named as Immortals of Meluha, I know this is a very weird point when I'm raising this issue, but it is because of that magical liquid that every guna was served with, and that is Somras. And it is because of this Somras that Shiva's throat had turned blue, and that is the reason Shiva and his entire tribe were invited to Meluha. Why? Because there is a legend of Neelkanth that's very famous in Meluha, that a man with a blue throat will come and will get rid of them, of all the evils. And finally the Neelkanth arrives. When he drinks the Somras, his throat actually turns blue, and everyone is really happy that they have found their Neelkanth. Now, Shiva doesn't agree with this concept of Vikarma, of course, because he considers it as baseless. He thinks that if something bad has happened to a person, it might have a reason behind it. It might be a disease or something because of which this happened. So he talks to King Daksha, and he very clearly states that he loves Sati. And even before that, when Daksha gets an inclination that he is in love with his daughter, he feels very happy, because Shiva, being the Neelkanth, had the power to give Sati the life that she deserved. However, how is this Vikarma law broken? So Shiva is there on the stage giving a speech to all the Meluhans, finally revealing his blue throat. And after he had given his speech, after he had agreed in front of everyone to help them in any manner he can, he is descending off the stage, and an old blind man comes, and he's about to touch Shiva's feet with devotion and reverence, when he's abruptly stopped by his son. And all of a sudden, it seems as if he has come out of his trance, and he starts apologizing profusely to Shiva that being a Vikarma, he was not allowed to touch Shiva, and he says sorry to him. Next, what Shiva does is really heartwarming, and it changes the complete game. He himself approaches the old man, bends down and touches his feet, seeking his blessings. And everyone is stunned that the Neelkanth not only touched the Vikarma but also seeked his blessings. And from that moment, the Vikarma law is turned null and void. A lot of things happen, and Shiva is shown to be a man of character. He does not, try to defend or protect Sati at every step, but he supports him, and he treats Sati as his equal. He believes in her, and he supports her to fight her own battles. So a lot of things happen, and even if when people doubt Sati, he does not doubt her caliber at all. In fact, he teaches her the skills that he knows, and he motivates her, and he completely believes in her. And this is what gains him her respect. Slowly, she also admits having feelings for Shiva, and their marriage is arranged. Now, meanwhile, Shiva is told about the Somras, the magical liquid. So basically, it gives, a new life to the people. So if they are supposed to live for 100 years, their lifespan increases to 200 years. And that's the reason the 100, and they do not age. Even the 100 plus years of a person looks like in his 30s or 40s. And that's the reason why Meluha was so developed, because they never age, they're always full of energy, and they can do much more than their bodies would have allowed. So he's taken to Mount Mandar, where the Somras is manufactured, and there he meets their chief scientist, that is Brihaspati. And Shiva and Brihaspati connect very well with each other, and their bond really strengthens. By the way, who developed Somras? It was the scientist Brahma. Okay, so Brahma, the creator, is shown as the scientist in this book, and he was the one to develop Somras. Earlier, it was limited only to the Brahmins, or you can call the Saptarishis, a specific set of people. But when Lord Ram came to rule, he believed in equality, and he said there should not be only a selected number of people who can access Somras, but it should be available to all. And from there, everyone had the privilege of having Somras. Apart from that, the caste system was there, but there was a chance given to everyone to come out of their caste, and it's also a very weird system. It's called the Mica system. So basically what happens, all the newborn babies are like, you know, they are admitted into a kind of a hospital which is known as the Mica system, and they are raised up over there, and it's not revealed that which child belongs to whom. And later on, they, as they grow up, so they are assigned the caste according to their caliber and not by birth. But what is the thing that is disturbing over here is that the child never gets to know about his real parents, and parents never get to know about their real child. And as soon as a mother gives birth to the child, she has to abandon him, knowing she will never see him, and she has to send him to the Mica system, which feels like really absurd and, you know, weird. But Meluhans respect it. Later on we get to know that not all Meluhans respect it, but initially in the face it seems that they are happy with it, because at least children are getting an opportunity to choose their tribe, or to be admitted to the tribes according to their calibers. But as you can see that Sati is with his own father, that means an exception was later made, you know, made for the kings, that the kings or the royal class can have their children back from the Mica system. So it's not as perfect as we see. And why was Vikarma system launched? It was launched because there was a thinking that when something wrong happens with a person, he or she tends to revolt. They tend to blame others, because they never see that it's because of their own mistakes. They always blame others for their state. So in order to prevent the revolt, the rebellion, the arousal of negative feelings against them, all the negative feelings were turned against themselves only. So भाई तुम्हारे पुराने कर्मों की गलती है जो तुम भुगत रहे हो, किसी और का इसमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है. So please don't rebel. This was the thing that had been thought before making this Vikarma system. All right, now coming back, okay, so Sati and Shiva's marriage has been arranged. Now Shiva has grown really closer with Nandi, and especially Brihaspati, whom he considers his brother. The marriage takes place, and later on, or just a few days later, he gets to know that there was a huge blast at Mount Mandar. And when he visits there, everything is ruined. The ruins of people, their bones, their flesh, everything is there. It's a massacre. And obviously it was such a huge blast, there was no scope that someone might have escaped. And Shiva is so, you know, grief stricken to have lost his brother, his Brihaspati. And there he finds that same bracelet with Om, formed using 3 serpents, and he loses it. He completely loses it. He is so angry that he simply wants to kill that person who is actually a Naga. Naga are the people with certain deformities, and they have very bad reputation among people, that they kill uselessly and they are very strong and so on and so forth. Now King Daksha tells Shiva that Nagas are allies with Chandra Vanshis. So basically the Meluhans are Surya Vanshis who does everything in a planned manner according to the rules. And Chandra Vanshis are another set of people. And Surya Vanshis and Chandra Vanshis both are rivals. And because Shiva is so angry, he decides to wage a war. But before that, an application is sent to King Dilipa, the king of Ayodhya, Chandravanshis, uh, seeking the address or seeking the whereabouts of Nagas. However, when the reply comes that he does not know any of the Nagas and Nagas are not an allies of Chandravanshis, they do not believe that letter and they simply attack. Now here Shiva proves to be a very good leader once again, and he motivates everyone with the slogan Har Har Mahadev, means everyone is a Mahadev, everyone is a god. And this fills, a different sort of energy in every soldier, and they finally win the battle against Chandravanshis. This also earns him Parvateshwar's respect and lifelong loyalty, because he had not believed that Shiva himself will go at the war front and will fight a battle against Chandravanshis. This also shows the affection and the character of King Daksha. Earlier he had wanted Shiva only to make an exception to Vikarma law for Sati only. And now also before the war he had not wanted Shiva to go to the front and fight the war, because he was scared for his daughter that Sati might lose her husband once again. So he loves her daughter he loves his daughter immensely, but at the same time he is not seen practicing equality. Anyways, Surya Vanshis win the war. They are very happy, and the war is won not just because of Shiva but because of another person who is a Vikarma, or who was a Vikarma. So they had a limited army, so they admitted Vikarmas into their army, who fought really bravely, and they helped in Surya Vanshis to gain that victory. Now, when Chandravanshis lose, King Daksha orders to bring King Dilipa into his chamber to show his superiority. And again, what happens next is also very baffling. The moment King Dilipa sees Shiva, he kind of starts crying and he does not say anything, and he accepts his fate and he moves out. And when his daughter enters, she's stunned, and she bursts out saying that you were supposed to be on our side, you were supposed to fight for us and not against us. And she is taken outside of the chambers, leaving Shiva completely shocked, confused, and not capable of uttering a single word. Now, what was the reason behind that reaction? The reason was that the legend of Neelkanth was not just popular in Meluha, it was popular in Ayodhya as well. Chandravanshis were also waiting for the arrival of Neelkanth to get rid of all the evils, to get them rid of all their problems. And it's said that Chandravanshis are not evil, they are just different. And Shiva realizes it when he goes into a temple and a beggar looking person is there with very limited food, like just a loaf of bread or something, and he offers half, in fact more than half of his food to Shiva and makes him eat forcefully. And there Shiva realizes that how could such people be evil, who are so selfless that they do not have food to eat for themselves but they are offering me. And this is what Immortals of Meluha teaches us, that what seems to be an unshakable truth might not be the truth, or its opposite might also be the truth, because one's reality is all about one's perspective. And Shiva is left heartbroken. He feels he has done something wrong. He had done wrong fighting a war against Chandra Vanshis, and it's then that he again sees a Naga, but this time he's sure that Chandra Vanshis are not allies with Naga, and he will have to find another route to get to the Nagas. So the book ends here. And by the way, one more thing, Shiva and Sati are blessed with a baby boy, and the boy is named as Kartik. Now why do they name the boy as Kartik? Because Sati had an attendant, Kritika, from the very beginning with her, and she had always supported her, and Shiva has seen the bonding between the two, so he always wanted to name their child after Kritika. He had hoped that it would be a daughter, but because it turned out to be a boy, he named him Kartik. So I hope you enjoyed this book. Please do read it if possible, and if you are trying to find a cheap alternative, then you can find the audio book free of cost on YouTube. And of course, this book has a lot of amazing quotes. You can Google them, and every single quote is so meaningful. So yes, do tell me, and do try to listen to the audiobook. It will improve your listening and speaking skills. So that's it from my side. We'll meet in the next video with another part, that is Secret of Nagas. Till then, bye everyone, and keep reading.